So just quickly on CDI, we're a coalition of 51 countries, including Brazil, and 10 international organizations with a specific focus on disaster resilient infrastructure. And I think the key message that I want to reinforce, that I want everyone to take away, is that resilient infrastructure is one of the smartest investments we can make. It protects lives, it safeguards economies, it unlocks growth, and when extreme events happen, it allows rapid recovery. Now, in terms of what we do at CDI, there are three broad things. The first is coming to events like this and making the case that this is one of the smartest investments we can make. So just to give a sort of a macro picture of where we are, CDI developed the first publicly accessible probabilistic risk model. Normally when I speak to people, nobody understands that. I think I probably have some more luck here. And that tells us that between $700 and $800 billion a year for the world is the average annual loss to infrastructure from extreme events. That's roughly 14% of GDP at risk every single year. And we saw some of the initial reports after Hurricane Melissa a couple of weeks ago, is that some small island states have potentially lost between 30 and 40% of their GDP in just one event. So as the world, as a global community, we're carrying an unsustainable level of risk, and that risk is increasing. Now, at the same time, we have an opportunity. We know that by 2050, 70% of people will live in cities and urban areas, but we also know that 75% of the infrastructure that we will need by 2050 is yet to be built. So we have an opportunity to embed resilience rather than risk, starting right now. And the good news is, taking that opportunity pays for itself. It returns what we call a resilience dividend. So we know that adding resilience at project level can increase costs between 5 and 15%, but also that for every dollar we invest in resilience, over the asset's life cycle, it will return a dividend of between $7 and $12. So this is a smart investment. At the macroeconomic level, we know that by investing, we could halve GDP losses. So by 2050, we can make a huge difference. 80% of the impact of extreme events is on infrastructure. So by investing in infrastructure, including in resilient cities, we will make a huge difference. The second thing we do is by providing technical assistance support to countries who are members and regions that are at risk. Geographies, specific geographies such as small island states, mountains, cities that face very specific issues. Just to give three quick examples. In Orissa, so the CDI Secretariat is based in India. I live in Delhi. Orissa is a state on the Bay of Bengal, which has a history of facing cyclones, super cyclones. In the 1990s, there was a super cyclone that killed 10,000 people. After investments in resilience, early warning systems, super cyclones today are killing mostly. The focus today is resilient cities, and we're supporting technical assistance projects in Brazil, Bhutan, Honduras, India, and Sri Lanka. And in Sri Lanka, for example, we're supporting the city of Colombo, the capital, to enhance the resilience of their drinking water system to ensure that when extreme events happen, the population is still able to access clean drinking water. And the third thing we do, just very quickly, is by bringing people together, accepting that no one has all of the answers to the challenges we face. And indeed, lots of the places that we wouldn't necessarily assume would have the answers do, because of the fact that, as we saw, some of our older, more developed cities are actually adapted to the wrong climate. So, for example, last year we brought together experts from around the world who work on metro systems in cities to deal with specifically with the issue of extreme heat. Lots of old metro systems, including in London, where I'm from, are simply not adapted to even moderate heat, and it can become quite oppressive on the metro when there is. We brought together experts from cities with old metros, as well as cities like Delhi, where the metro is fantastic and it was built from the ground up to withstand earthquakes, flooding, and extreme heat, to share good practice, and we developed and released guidelines. So again, I'll stop there, but again, the key message I want to make is resilient infrastructure, resilient cities is one of the smartest investments we can make, and it pays for itself. Thank you.